Hey everyone, welcome back. This week we're talking about, well, it's a Chris Rock movie, it's a David Hyde Pierce movie, it's a Bill Murray movie, and it is gross. We're going inside Bill Murray with Osmosis Jones. I mean, I didn't expect this movie to be super gross, but then he eats something off the floor of an ape enclosure, and oh, gross. It's really gross. And that will come across as also really gross. In the meantime, thanks for listening, subscribing, join the Patreon. We have a lot of great content there. And also, don't forget to rate and review us wherever you get us. Join the Facebook group. We have about 300 people there. And it's always nice to see participants. Thanks, guys. Welcome to Myopia Movies. This week we are covering Osmosis Jones, an over-budgeted episode of The Magic School Bus. I'm Nick Hoffman, host of Myopia Movies, and from Cineprov, and up we have...
Hello, this is Daniel, frequent contributor to Pop Dose, and I don't have a joke this time. I just want to say Nick's exactly right. This was an episode of The Magic School Bus.
Nora Trinette, I'm disgusted by popping zits.
Oh, boy.
Dude, I was drinking something. I'm going to be sick.
Yum.
And Lauren, achoo! I'm just kidding.
I can't do body humor. I just can't.
I don't know why we decided on this movie. We kind of drew it out of a hat. We're like, we need another animated movie. We want something that kind of will hit.
I remember this playing all the time on cable back in the day.
And this is one that if I saw it was somewhere where I wasn't paying attention, because I remember jokes from it, and I don't know if it had a particularly aggressive trailer campaign, but none of this seemed surprising. Like, it's Fantastic Voyage, kind of. But as a noir.
Well, I guess the educational part of the movie of being, what goes down in the human body. Like, for real, I was telling you this earlier. My anatomy teacher let us watch this movie for 2 whole days.
Nice.
I didn't think she had like a lesson plan.
As opposed to Fantastic Voyage, you got Osmosis Jones.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't think she was a good teacher in the first place. She was just short lady.
Yeah.
Okay, but I will say, as the house nurse, there was a lot of inaccuracies.
Really?
I'm sorry.
You don't
Yes,
say.
I had to bring that up. There was a lot of good. But a lot of not right.
So a Farrelly Brothers movie wasn't completely accurate on human anatomy?
They use
Just so you
weird
know
words.
about the immune system.
Holy spit.
Yeah.
That is a line in this movie.
I mean, like, you have the white blood cells who fight things. They're the cops.
Yes.
Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. Chicken grease.
Well, let's stop here for the idea that there's a single strain of the virus that's floating around, that's a lot. It never multiplies once. And the fact that there's also only one white blood cell that shows up is a little much as well. There would be a traffic jam every time this shows up. Like that's the idea. And it's almost a joke in here. I also do kind of like they did in The Pill, just survives for days and days and days and days. That's funny. That's pretty funny. It's funny. Okay, so Nora, this is your turn. You got one? You got a plot synopsis?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
good.
Finally, I can finally do this. So we open to.
Oh, your mic should be on. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Are you serious?
No, dude, I'm kidding.
It's
I'm
on,
literally
it's on.
joking.
All right. So here we have Frank, who's played by the man, the myth, the legend, Bill Murray, which I'm pretty sure has a cult following nowadays.
Yes.
Oh,
He's
1,000%.
a single father who works at a zoo, hanging out with his daughter.
Shane,
yes. Frank, as we first see, gets in a fight with a monkey for a hard-boiled egg, which he just douses in mayo, just Minnesota mayo
and salt.
and then
Salt.
he puts salt for like 20 minutes straight. He eats the egg, and then we get into his body's mouth, which we're then introduced to Osmosis, voiced by Chris Rock, who is a white blood cell, which in this universe is the cops. And basically, this egg has this little virus, which is I think, what was it called?
Thorax.
The Red
Thorax.
Death.
Yeah.
And basically, Thraxus, he's killed a couple of people. Calls Ebola. His synopsis between him and Ebola is that compared to Ebola, it's a piece of dandruff. In the midst of all this, not feeling well, Bill Murray Frank, he takes a pill, which then we're introduced to the character Drax. Was it? Yeah. Which is
Drix, I thought.
Drexen, which is voiced by who was the voice actor? In this?
David Hyde Pierce.
Which I thought it was Kevin. Was it
Kevin
Kline? Which
you got this, buddy. English. It's so good.
I know, right? I got it.
It's not Mr. Fischoeder from Bob's Burgers. It is, in fact, Sideshow Bob's brother.
And basically, this movie goes through their adventures in trying to defeat the disease, which is the Red Death.
Did we mention that this is half live action, half animated, where everything that happens inside Frank's body is animated and everything that happens in, I guess, the real world is live action?
Yeah.
So I figured out why this became an episode. This movie looks good, right?
Right.
Yeah.
How much do you think it cost to make in 2001?
I guess 60 million.
20.
40.
70. So
Wow.
I mean, it's an expensive movie. You want to guess how much it made in total worldwide gross in the theaters?
Oh.
140.
It probably broke.
20.
I probably made a profit, but not a big one. I'm going to say 90.
Less than 15 million.
Wow.
Jesus.
Well, there was some big actors around this movie, which probably, had a bunch of bait. Yeah.
No. I'm saying it lost $55 million.
Oh, snap.
Right.
And that doesn't
It
count
took 70 to make, but only
advertising.
made 15.
That doesn't count advertising, so it's probably cost $80 million. Like, it only made $14 million back.
How did the Farrelly brothers ever work again?
Because they stopped doing comedy.
Well, there were a couple things they did after this. Stuck on You, which I'm sure we're going to watch soon.
Movie 43.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
That was them?
That was them, too.
Oh, Adrian.
Wow. I didn't realize it bombed that bad.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe that's why we all saw it, because when a movie bombs like that, the rights are super cheap, and they will end up on your television set.
I remember watching this on cable a whole bunch with my brother back in the day, because it was on HBO constantly.
Yeah.
Especially in the next summer.
Well, I mean, this did spawn off a TV show, which was on Fox Kids back in the day. We talked about it, was voiced by Phil Lamar, who, is, I guess, the poor man Chris Rock, in a sense, when his voice is going.
No.
He'll do your animated movie, that's for sure.
That's true.
Who else was in that animated show? Anybody noteworthy?
Let's see. I'm looking at now. Jeff Bennett. No?
Wow.
Oh, I know him.
Hey.
He was the Dexter's dad in Dexter's Laboratory,
He
I
was.
think.
Good quick pull.
Elena Umpach. Probably saying that wrong. Let's see. You don't want me reading things. And I guess Rob Paulson.
Okay.
Rob Paulson's
The legend.
No, so I didn't even know there was an animated show, so that's cool. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
But no, this movie they're obviously showing the system of Frank and how his body works. There's Mayor Flemington.
Who
his voice,
is William
Shatner? Yeah, he's voiced by William Shatner, and
His aide, voiced by recording artist Brandy.
yeah, but exactly by Brandy. And I guess since the main guy Pete, who's the zookeeper, who is Bill Murray, since his wife passed away, I guess he's really kind of let himself go. He doesn't exercise. He doesn't eat well.
His diet.
Bad lifestyle. He doesn't. And so his daughter Shane is really worried about him.
He's clearly suffering depression just based on the way he looks. He's got a constant 5 o'clock shadow. He's overweight. I mean, there's a scene with him. Yeah, he's constantly sweaty.
I'm surprised they didn't get a bigger person. Not saying celebrity-wise, but physically a bigger person.
This would have been Chris Farley if Chris Farley was still alive at the time.
But Nick put it really well during the movie. He was like, Bill Murray is perfect for this role because you can make him look dirty. Like he was pretty. He's just naturally kind of like. Don't get me wrong. I love Bill Murray, but he's just naturally kind of that 5 o'clock shadow, dirty, musky,
craggy face.
Yeah, like it suits him perfectly. So he doesn't really care about himself too much, and so he gets his egg, eats the egg, and that's how Thrax gets in the body.
God. You're reminding us of that scene again with the chimp.
God, this movie's so gross.
It's a good. I mean, like I said,
the human body is disgusting.
Human body is disgusting, and this is how it works essentially. Especially when you take bad care of yourself. Like I think.
Listen, COVID, for example.
Yeah, this is relevant.
Should there be
for
a
COVID.
sequel with COVID?
So funny enough.
Oh boy.
Oh,
This just reminded me. This came out August 10th, 2001, and the producer at one point came out and said at the DVD release, "We thought this would have a sequel if it wasn't for 9/11."
What? Why does 9/11 have anything to do with it?
Because it came out a month before 9/11. And so a lot of people blame 9/11. But I mean, you asked why they worked again. I looked this up. This was the same year they released Shallow Hal.
okay.
Which was a big,
which
it's
was
a
a big
small
hit.
money comedy. It maybe cost $30 million, and it made 150, 160 back. So, like, that's your success that says, this is good. 9/11.
I mean, that would make sense why I lost money because people were afraid to go out.
9/11.
I don't know what to say.
Right?
It was a month before. By that time, it was out of theaters.
That's like its opening weekend. It opened 5th, and then it went down from there.
Then it's gone by
Yeah,
that
that's right.
point.
But it's just funny that you're just like, what would have saved our movie if it hadn't been 9/11? And you're just like, guys.
Oh my God.
Guys.
No, it just immediately made me want to wash my face and brush my teeth, like just when they showed
eat
the
a
mouth
salad.
and the germs.
This movie should have been
And
sponsored by
just,
Scope,
yeah,
right?
I-
Like Listerine. Don't be a Murray.
We get a scene of Bill Murray vomiting on Molly Shannon in this movie.
after
from eating
some
bad-
kid's science project.
According to my hypotenuse, those oysters are safe to eat.
Oysters,
Hypotenuse. Hypotenuse.
No, what got
hypotenuse
me-
is what he says in the movie.
He
Yeah,
meant to
that's
say
what- that's a joke he
hypothesis.
makes.
Hypothesis.
Yeah,
Oh,
if my
that's what it is.
hypotenuse is correct.
I'm from now on say hypotenuse from now on.
Right. No, the scene that got me was the zit. I'm sorry. I can take vomit.
Yeah.
The zit.
Hold up. We gotta. I think. Let's go back to it's leading to the zit because the virus comes through, trying to. Okay. Just say from the science
This
point.
is so gross.
Okay, from the science point out that this Red Death comes in acting like a common cold, so it's gonna do some things so it gets the mucus and stuff. It just But
Wait. You're saying that there's a disease that's
Yes.
significantly more lethal that most people think is just the common cold?
That's what Lawrence Fishburne. That's what Lawrence Fishburne's character was trying to say.
Larry Fishburne had a message.
Larry Fishburne,
Good,
yeah.
good old Larry Fishburne.
I will say
Is the
this.
Red Death COVID?
I will say this.
Oh,
Is the
snap.
way? Oh shit! Is the Red Death COVID? Is this in the future? Shit, man.
I will say this.
Mind
I was
blown.
also disgusted by the zit scene. I mean, any scene with Kid Rock in it is just gross.
Significant fever. Anyway.
I know. And it spreads to the girl's eyelashes or whatever.
Yeah. And yes, Kid Rock is in this movie because it was
Kidney-
2001.
Kidney Rock, excuse me.
Kidney Rock, yeah.
This was a year before JC died, or Joe C died.
Josie died?
Yeah, like
The little kid?
2002.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I'd
of
forgotten
celiac
that.
disease.
Oh.
There's no joke. It's just,
No.
looked him up and it said in memorandum. I'm like, go back. He's
shit.
an animated 3-legged virus for half a second. What's going on?
He did something for the kids. That's nice.
Well, and anyway, there's this whole underground
It's
scene
better.
where, the Red Death, Larry Fishburne murders a Marlon Brando virus in a sauna.
Located in the pits where
Yes.
there's a
In
sweat
our head,
lodge.
yeah.
Yes.
In
Yeah.
the sweat lodge.
The sweat lodge in
This
the
is
pits.
gross.
And apparently,
Oh, gross.
The human body's disgusting.
apparently
It is.
his goal is to kill Frank simply because that's how viruses earn their reputation in this universe, is whether or not they get into medical textbooks. One of Osmosis Jones's informants says, "There's a new place in the forehead called the zit. That's where everything's going down." So they have to go meet there.
Yeah, that was super cute. The informant is the flu vaccine.
Yes.
one of
I
the good
thought that was
germs.
super cute. One of the good germs.
I was only injected in this body to
Right.
rat on influenza.
This isn't influenza to me.
He said he's protected by the Witness Germ Protection Program. Or something
Yeah, something
That's
like that.
cute.
There are a lot of puns like that in this movie.
Oh,
Any noir cliche or cop movie cliche you can think of, just stick a random body part to it, and it's in this movie.
Or just take a chill pill.
I see what you did there.
I remember watching this as a kid and then watching it now. There's a lot of adult humor into this.
For example, this IMDb trivia: the drain drops outside the newsstand look like sperm cells.
Exactly.
The our founder.
It was just a sperm.
The our founder is a sperm cell.
I mean, you gotta think those animated movies at the time. I mean, like Shrek and all that kind of stuff. Like your parents would go take you to the movies, and then obviously it's a movie for kids, but I'm sure they would sneak in some adult references just for the parents.
Disney did that all the time from the 80s onward.
Yeah, Disney still does that. No, or like when he goes, it's that thing that hangs down from Frank's regular.
And he's like,
oh, I know what that's. Oh no, and he goes, no,
we're going to the
boxers.
Talking about balls.
The thing that
testicles. Testicles, listeners. They're talking about testicles.
Hey, now.
You're an all-star.
But,
that was involuntary. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so where should we go from here? I mean, the whole thing is a cop story. They're trying to get to the Red Noir.
Frankly, I hated the live-action sequences. If it was up to me, do it entirely animated. Maybe have a few POV shots where you see the real world and maybe Bill Murray looking at himself in a mirror. But this should have been an entirely animated movie.
But we wouldn't get great scenes with Bill Murray and Chris Elliott, who's also in this movie as well.
We still could have.
It just could have been animated.
Yeah,
that's true.
Well, it could have been POV. So the scene late in the movie where Bill Shatner is trying to control Frank and he's passing out from his body temperature, and Chris Elliott's like, okay, we're to a hospital. The trip is off. That would have worked. And it would have been a lot funnier, too, I think, because would have been like, oh my God, it's Chris Elliott just in 30 seconds of movie.
I will say, though, this movie is lazy because in no way does the actual animated world interact in any way. That's how you make it a movie. If they interact with the cartoons in some way. The cartoons are the ones who you do a side shot of the eye and you see him pushing up against the lens, and so you have the interaction.
They try towards the end of the movie.
A bit.
In the final scene.
When she's
there's
a giant CGI horrifying eye thing.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
The plot points in this movie, I mean, Osmosis Jones comes in, I even forget how he's introduced in this movie.
He's on probation.
Yeah, he's on probation. There's another virus that breaks in. He's in the mouth in this weird helicopter-y thing.
Yes, that's right. Okay,
yeah.
And then
they're fighting gingivitis or whatever.
Yep.
Well, it's after Frank eats the egg, right? And those are the initial germs that come in.
The monkey dropped 10-second roll egg. Yes, mayonnaise covered, sodium infused.
It has hay on it. It has zoo hay on that egg.
I wanted to eat a salad after I watched this movie. So.
You're just still hungry.
That's where you meet him.
I know, right? Yeah, right. That makes me not want to eat. Yeah.
And then it becomes clear that Mayor Flemington,
gross,
who's in charge of this body, and that he's in for re-election, and there's a new mayor that's voiced by Ron Howard.
Who breaks a kid's neck, by the way? They said if he twists the kid's, and they show a cut to the kid's neck. He's wearing a neck brace. Yeah.
Dude, that was something.
So the new mayor is his campaign is that it has to be exercise and good food and taking care of our bodies, and the mayor of Flemington doesn't want that, and he's like, my constituents don't want that.
Well, the whole thing about that is that's where we get the climax, is about how Frank's going to the Chicken Wing Festival in Buffalo, New York, where there's 128 flavors of wings to try out.
No, 99 wings, 128 dipping sauce.
Ah, there you
go. Yes.
Which by the way, folks, there's an actual wing festival now because of this movie.
Shows up every year.
Really every year, yeah. There's a Buffalo Wing Festival that actually takes place because of this. Check it out.
He doesn't ever buy a ticket. He doesn't he's never invited. He just shows up and they give him wings.
That's right. They didn't even the other actors didn't say they were getting paid. David Hyde Pierce went one time. He goes, "Oh, this wing is spicy," and then he laughed. But Bill Murray's like, "It's you guys."
No one's ever going to believe you.
I have the spec. I have Caddyshack, Bill Murray. That's all I got.
I was about to say.
It's a really interesting story. It's a good movie. Yeah.
So do you think Frank got total consciousness from the Dalai Lama?
Could have been. But no, in a weird spectrum, this movie turned into a weirdly gross things of human body. But within the movie, it was like a buddy cop movie. Means like 48 Hours, Rush Hour, Lethal Weapon between Frank and Drax.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The cold pill is Drax. I'm not sure if we've mentioned that.
Yeah,
he takes a cold pill after getting a cramp. He gets a cramp because Osmosis, trying to fight a germ, shoots his nervous system.
Yep.
And then he gets a cramp. Then he, I think, and by this time, this is after he had already eaten the egg, which had the virus, which is the Red Death. And then while trying to swallow his chicken, after he gets like, I guess, heartburn, was it? And then
going down rough.
It's going down.
Going down rough.
It's going down rough.
It's going down rough.
And while his daughter is trying to make a doctor's appointment with him, he gets his subconscious taken by William Shatner's character, the mayor, saying that if he goes to the doctor, it's going to infringe on this weekend plan of going to Buffalo for the Wing Festival. And then he takes as the mayor hijacks his subconscious, saying, "Oh, I don't need to go to the doctor. I'm just going to take a cold pill." And then we're introduced to the red pill.
Well, originally, it was over a sore throat, like you said. The chicken was going down rough.
Yeah.
Oh, what was that scene when he had the cramp and his daughter was like trying to massage it, and he just kept going, leg, where does it hurt? Leg, and then eventually she hands him like a drumstick from a KFC bucket.
Oh, I miss KFC. I've only had Popeyes since the chicken sandwich came out. I know that's a side story, but yeah.
Zaxby's has the superior chicken sandwich.
You are fasting for baby.
I can eat now, but I'm just saying.
Yay, you can eat now.
I mean, I could eat.
I could eat.
Know what you got.
I know.
So we should bring up how this movie looks, because we've kind of talked a little bit about it, but the animation here is disgusting but gorgeous. I mean,
It's gorgeous.
It's run. It reminded me a lot of Don Bluth, which we've done some of. It
reminded me of Brad Bird and the Iron Giant.
So funny enough, I found a story researching the movie. Okay, so Warner Brothers at this point animation specifically was in financial straits. They had tried to make, I think, Swan Princess right around here, and it was a financial flop. It didn't look good. It was panned. Okay. 2000, Iron Giant comes out, right? And it's a masterpiece. It makes a lot of money. Okay.
Not initially. It was a cult film at first.
Sort of, kind of, but it played forever. Like, it didn't make a lot of money at first, played forever, but it was critically reviewed very well.
Yes, it was.
It's a masterpiece now, yes.
So Brad Bird had a second pitch, and Warner Brothers asked him for it, and they were in financial trouble. They chose the Farrelly brothers to do Osmosis Jones instead of Brad Bird's second animated pitch, which turned out to be The Incredibles. So this movie almost was The Incredibles and instead sunk Warner Brothers Animation.
That's, yeah. You chose...
Dude, this is the example of drinking from the wrong cup, man.
Yeah.
This is, woo!
In life, we have decisions, and sometimes they're good, and sometimes they're bad.
That's right.
It's not a bad movie. It's just a weird movie to make into an anime movie because it's not really for kids.
Well, I was gonna say, if you cut 10 million out of the budget and made it PG-13, like had more jokes, maybe. But like, you don't. Why would you hire Chris Rock if he can't swear? It's like a Samuel Jackson movie where he doesn't say motherfucker.
Yeah,
right? Like, you hire that guy for the motherfucker. Like, he dances with that word.
Samuel L. Jackson was in The Incredibles, though, and, he didn't...
Yeah, but he does the thing. He goes to his wife and goes,
Where's my super suit?
Right? And like,
you want that tone. You want that, you want that tone of voice.
Chris Rock gets, his stand-up routine in a little bit, like I guess in the early 2000s and 90s, he was always joking about like how he's poor. In this movie, he talked about what it was living like in the backside, which was his ass. How they couldn't afford, anything. They had to, he said, how hard it is to blow dry your hair with a fart, that kind of thing. So he gets to it, but like I said, he's a vulgar comedian, and he didn't get to be vulgar.
Yeah,
that's another scene that gets real gross.
Yeah, but he doesn't really get to riff the way Chris Rock riffs, and he's a genius stand-up comedian, but here it's just like... It's just dumb puns, which isn't what Chris Rock is known for.
First of all, Kelsey Grammer needed to be in this because Niles was in it, and that makes it a funny joke.
Oh, he should have been the mayor.
Great. Or I said Ron Howard should have been played by Patrick Stewart, so you have the two captains going at it. I mean, at this point, you could have had Cisco, like anyone. Janeway.
That's
true. There you go.
I am old. Hi, you have no idea what I'm talking about.
No, I know what Kelsey Grammer was, but that's about it.
I hear the blues are calling, toss down in them scrambled eggs.
Oh, Frasier. Okay, I got you.
No, Kelsey Grammer could have been part of the brain system.
I got you.
When he got to the brain.
Not so much these days he can't, but maybe back then.
Well, he was the second, and he's one of the
he could have been the hypothalamus guard or something.
Or the person that they call the memory person.
Yeah.
Hello, this is Frasier Crane. I can't do a Frasier. His voice is so sonorous, it's so deep and it's saucy.
I still think of him as Sideshow Bob as opposed to Frasier Crane.
I mean, yeah, but I have to be classy occasionally.
I remember him as Beast in X-Men 3. The
Yes, he
X-Men
was.
United.
I remember him from that YouTube clip where he falls off the stage mid-sentence when he's... No, none of you? Oh,
No, I mean, that doesn't surprise me.
Real Housewives? No.
No, he was doing a live show on stage and he steps off the stage and he goes... I'll show it after the recording.
X-Men
Him and his ex were on Real Housewives too. I'm just saying.
I'm sure that was slightly less embarrassing than those times that he kept stepping on the rake over and over again.
Anyways, Daniel made Nick walk away. No, I adored this film. I thought it was great. I'd never seen it before, so I was very impressed with the animation. I thought it was beautifully done. And very cool way to show a unique perspective of how the body works.
I love how the membrane was like the hairstyles for the white blood cells and how the germs looked. It was very creative in trying to anthropomorphize these, microscopic organisms. Mm-hmm. It was clever.
It's a beautiful way of saying that, man. Yeah. I really like the movie. Even now, I'm 28 or whatever, it still holds up, and I don't know about y'all, but I really wanted to take better of my body after I saw What's in Frank.
I get that.
Yeah. No.
Although there are some really morbid jokes in this movie too, like after the Red Death nearly kills Frank, right? I mean, I don't think we care about spoilers at this point. Nearly kills him. He actually does die, and then he comes back with a pulse after Osmosis Jones gives them the things they need to fix the hypothalamus, and the first thing he says to his daughter is, "Your mom says hey." And I'm like, what's going on there?
No, it's very dark. His daughter says maybe if you and mom had taken better care of yourselves, she would still be here.
She's blaming her dad on her mom's death.
Yeah, totally.
Well, there's also the first scene where Osmosis goes to meet Drax, and they're at the airport, and he meets Brandy's character. He tries to flirt with her. He's like, "Hey, I know a spot behind the eye that we can meet up and do something."
Mm-hmm, girl.
Yeah. This was a PG movie for kids? I don't know.
Well, I mean, if back in 2001, if you saw Brandy, that's about what you would say, right?
Well, no, and then she makes a joke saying he's like, "Girl, I got girls lining up for me, just want to divide." And she says, "I'm sure you do all the dividing by yourself."
Yes.
Yeah, you look like you're
That's a
gonna
joke.
love it. You divide by yourself.
That's not even the laziest. At one point, Chris Rock walks into the room and goes, "Hey, Brandy, I mean Leia."
You think at this point they were like,
Lena.
"Fuck it."
Well, I mean, the line is delivered well, so I guess leave it in.
No, they did that on purpose.
Well,
okay, maybe.
The dumbest line in this movie is when Drax comes in that giant capsule, and Brandy, Leia, is like, "Ooh, that looks big," and then Chris Rock's like, "That's 99% sugar," and then Brandy's like, "You're 99% stupid." It's like, God, did anybody want to rewrite that?
It's for the kids.
I know.
It's for the kids.
That doesn't mean you have to be lazy about it.
Yeah. You actually brought up a cool fact while we were watching the movie that they had a lot of, majority of the actors who are in the live action part are a lot of SNL alumni.
Oh, yeah. Chris Elliott, Bill Murray, Molly Shannon, and then, you've got Chris Rock in this movie.
But, no. I mean, I think my favorite part of this whole movie was actually the club zip part, because he had to go in, he had to like disguise himself or whatever just to like fit in, and Drax tries to like break his face, and then they have the little, Nick pointed out the nice little, the black guy showing the white guy how to dance in the club scene. So that was a cute moment.
And the bartender like making a drink by like putting pus in a glass.
The human body is a wonderful thing.
I don't know after seeing this movie if I'd agree with that fact.
I mean, you don't want to know how the sausage is made. You just eat it.
Okay, that's true.
You don't want to know how the sausage is made, but it's made. That is, I mean, a lot of it's true.
I mean, there could have been a scene where Bill Murray was having a real rough time on a toilet, I guess. He could have really rounded out this movie.
I think that would have gotten the movie more than a PG rating. Mm-hmm. Knowing what the Farrelly brothers do with toilet scenes.
I mean, we have a showdown between William Shatner, who looks like Richard Nixon, and we got Ron Howard looking like a Kennedy type. And we're talking about a man shitting his brains out. That's kind of what this movie is. I can't believe there's a plot about a political election.
It's a subplot, but I get your point. It's weird.
It's a lot. There's a lot going on in this germ noir movie.
Ooh, germ noir. I like that term.
That's right.
I love it.
Germ noir.
Mayor
Flemington.
Did you? By the way, I looked this up in the middle of the movie. Do you know who voices Osmosis' chief?
No.
Mm-mm. Joel Silver.
That's a good pull. There's so much in this movie. It's very bizarre for a 90-some-odd minute like kids movie. I assume.
Yeah.
Right?
I remember this being marketed to kids, but
9/11, I guess.
I guess 9/11.
9/11.
I mean, was that really what they meant to do? Was this just supposed to be an animated movie that was just out there because... So
Osama bin Laden saw this, and then he's like, now 9/11 has to happen.
Oh my God.
Stop it.
I thought that's what you were saying.
No, what I mean is, did the Farrelly brothers sit down and say, okay, we're going to make a kids movie? Or did they just say, you know what, we're going to make this movie, we can make it animated, and whoever likes it, likes it?
I wonder if it's not a thing where whoever produced this movie, Warner Brothers, said... We said they could direct 4 movies under their contract, and that last one wasn't very good. So you see what I'm saying? Like, this movie was already approved, and like, hey, what about animation? Right? In that way that, what was it? Fantastic Mr. Fox? Like, they just said, we owe you a movie. Why don't you try stop motion animation? Right? Like, at a certain point, that's how you get out of a contract. You put this out in Shallow the same year the contract's over. Otherwise, they're a very weird decision unless they were contractually obligated to do something, right?
No, I think it was kind of, let's make it animated and whoever likes it, likes it. I think there's a little too many adult jokes in there, or a little too, I don't know.
It kind of
a little too
reminded me...
gross, like real life scenarios for it to be just purely for kids.
Although if you told me that it was a studio chop job and this original script was an R-rated movie and then they cut it back, I'd believe you, especially with that. Like, because that's why you hire those guys to make like Dumb and Dumber, but like with but with cartoons. Like,
you know what this reminds me of is like the Disney movies they were putting out in the 80s that weren't musicals, and they weren't trying necessarily to cater to kids.
Sure.
They were just trying to make animated movies.
Stuck.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you could have made it really much worse, and you could have made it much cleaner.
Oh,
like you
the
could
fact
have
there's
gone
not
either
like
way.
sperm jokes in this movie.
Right.
Well, more sperm jokes than there are is surprising.
Although, you know who they missed that they should have gotten? Speaking of the jokes we're making, this is a Jim Carrey movie if there's ever been one, right? Because that's Ace Ventura talking with his butt. And then the second one, he literally comes out of a rhino's ass, which is... we haven't done that one yet. It's super racist.
The head out of the rhino's ass?
No, just the second movie as a whole.
Ace Ventura,
okay.
yes.
I just want to say...
The one where he goes to Africa.
Oh, I know.
To find the
I saw it in Africa.
Oh, boy.
Well, no, speaking of animations, there was actually a lot of powerhouse animations that came out that year. Shrek. Monsters Inc., and to top it all off, Spirited Wind. So that's what Osmosis Jones had to compare us to.
Oh, you mean Spirited Away?
Spirited Away. Excuse me. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Read that wrong. Reading. I can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
I told him everything he knows.
So maybe they realized, hey, animation is kind of hot this year. Let's
put out a movie.
And
plus Disney was not having a good year that year, or for the past several years.
This was the year of Atlantis, or the year after Atlantis?
I think it was around that time, yeah.
And therefore, the first Academy Award for animated film went to Shrek. Because Disney had fought for it since Beauty and the Beast. They fought. It was an evil djinn, right? It was the Academy Award will exist, but you won't win it.
Not for the first 2 years, anyway.
What was the second year?
Spirited Away.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Didn't Snow White win an Academy Award?
It won a special Academy Award, but it didn't win a main competitive award.
And then in '88, Beauty and the Beast was nominated for Best Picture.
Silence of the Lambs beat it. It was 91.
91.
Yeah.
Right choice. Silence is better. But at the same time, they're like, Disney grabbed someone by the scrotum and said, "You're going to give me an award." And so they came up with Best Animated, and then out of spite, the evil djinn said, "You have to lose." And then they lost for 5 years straight to Pixar.
Yeah. That was before they owned Pixar, so yeah, they were consistently losing.
I think technically I'm 25% owned by Disney now.
Are you?
Right around there.
Yeah.
How so? Curious.
Well, first of all, I refused to join the metric system, so that they just endorsed me naturally.
Yeah.
And then we did several loving reviews of Disney movies, which didn't deserve it. But, people don't listen to those episodes. We're fine. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Osmosis Jones, then, if this was a musical, no, I'm not gonna go there.
Osmosis.
You can make this a musical. You can make anything a musical.
Osmosis Jones, but you put in little West Side Stories to it. Think about it. Like
when you're a germ, you're a germ all the way.
Yes, that's what you gotta do. The white
first
blood cells versus the red blood cells. There we go.
Yes.
There we go. Tension already. There it is.
There's a solo at the end.
Mm-hmm.
It's touching.
Yeah.
Light turns blue for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A love song between Osmosis and Brandy.
The right.
I like to be in the appendix. Okay, for me in the appendix.
We'll play Officer Krumke.
Drax.
Yeah.
There we go.
No, they can make a musical out of anything. Right now they're making a musical, Netflix, Queen's Gambit.
There's a musical.
Queen's Gambit, yeah.
Oh, boy.
I'm having my first
That is
period
what's going
at
on
a
right
chess
now.
tournament.
That's what's going on right now.
Huh.
Yeah, they're working on it.
You
They
can
make a
tell
musical out
on
of anything.
chess. I told my wife, you can tell a man wrote a script when an emotional moment happens around a woman's period. And, right? Like, she's winning a chess tournament and she's like, what's this going down my leg? And, like, that's the plot twist. Here's a tampon. I've made a friend. Thank you. And I was like, a man wrote this, didn't it? It was a man wrote the book and a man wrote the screenplay.
Oh.
It wasn't just any man. It was.
Change.
I was so surprised that, speaking of the guy who wrote the book, I was so surprised that Walter Travis wrote the Queen's Gambit book.
Yeah, it's something. I mean, I will say, the show's fine. It just could have been a 2-hour movie, man. It didn't need to be 6 one-hour episodes. It was interesting, and the actors and actresses were very good. She was a great lead. It doesn't need to be 9.5 days long, man.
So there was already a musical about chess, and it wasn't that good because ABBA wrote it.
Oh my God, that is
Shut your mouth. I love ABBA.
ABBA's one of the worst bands ever.
Oh my gosh, Daniel.
ABBA's
I'll defend
totally
ABBA. I
fine.
only know 5 of their songs.
Thank you.
What's the
Mamma
movie?
Mia.
Mamma
Mamma
Mia.
Mia.
That first Mamma Mia movie? Oh, that
Yes.
is just a warm Sunday afternoon, isn't
Pierce
it?
Brosnan?
Oh, dude, that man can't not be sexy.
Colin Firth. He doesn't smile with his teeth.
Dude, the
he
sequel,
just grins.
they're trying to figure out who's the dad between 3 beefcakes. Oh, girl.
She a hoe. Oh, yeah. I forgot that.
No, my whole point to all that is that they can make a musical out of anything.
That's true.
You know?
Mamma mia.
They made a musical out of Spider-Man.
Absolutely.
Dude,
Spider-Man and the
Brian
Dark
only
World.
killed about as many people as you'd expect.
Bono was in it.
He wrote the music for it. He wasn't
wrote
in
it.
it.
I am your Dr. Octopus. I don't know what that was.
Oh,
Neither do I.
Osmosis Jones, we forgot.
Oh yeah, Bono wrote the musical for Osmosis Jones too. That's where we were
Bo
going.
shows
Bad.
up and he's like, I am chlamydia. And he just dances off the stage.
That would be perfect casting right there. David Bowie as chlamydia.
The temperature part. The temperature part. Elevation.
So, hold on. This is a good lesson for those of you who don't know from our resident nurse here. What is the temperature that you don't want to be where it's pronounced brain dead?
You don't want to be above 104.
104.
Above 104 is not good. You start to have permanent brain damage of it. So the fact that they're saying that he's at 108 and he's still like talking is just kind of funny to me. That's all.
Do you die at 108?
Dude, yes.
No. You die before
You
108.
die before 108.
108 is when they put you in the microwave
Above
for 30
104,
seconds.
you have like permanent brain damage.
Dude,
and also, I'm just saying, it's a technicality. It's cool. I get what they're trying to say. But a fever is the immune system's response.
Right.
That's right.
You're killing germs. So it actually would be the cops causing it.
I've
So
had my
we're just
second.
getting technical here, but
I've had my second dose. I know what causes a fever.
Well,
Yes.
I found
Microchips from Bill Gates.
Yes.
yes,
right.
Yes.
I found-
the microchips.
a plot hole to this movie.
Holy
that Daniel-
shit. Whoa.
All right,
the
check this out. All
phones.
right,
Call Mr. Warner Brothers.
So when Laura Fishburne's character, the Red Death, goes into what was this cerebellum hall and take what does he take?
Cerebellum hall, yeah.
I don't know science. He takes what was I forgot what it did. That
He
causes
was-
his temperature to
He was
spike.
in the hypothalamus.
hypothalamus.
Yeah.
Hypothalamus.
And so
Should we send this to that anatomy teacher?
I think so, and it wasn't her. He's being kind of fluish, and he then
Funny
drinks
he
a beer.
doesn't look fluid.
He
Drinks
doesn't
a
look like
beer.
he drinks a beer, which is technically alcohol, right?
Right.
So, and then at the
The
end,
alcohol technically
can
could
kill
kill
germs. So, and I think after the dramatic Matrix-style fight scene that happens on the daughter's eye. Wow, if you take this out of context, it's gonna sound
Dude,
weird.
no. Are you setting up a Chekhov's gun?
Huh?
Gecko.
No, sorry. Is that an old person joke? Sorry.
No,
Okay.
it's not. It's
No.
it's a screenplay thing.
Oh, okay. And then after the battle of the eyelash, he comes down, and then the germ goes into alcohol, and then it dies. Why did the germ die when he drank beer?
Because it wasn't in the stomach or in part of the digestive tract
I
at
just
that
wasted
point.
3 minutes. Then sorry. That
No.
That'd be
No,
my
yeah.
that
guess.
is a guess. Yeah.
Right.
I'm
But
glad
alcohol
you-
gets into the bloodstream.
There we
Wait,
go.
what?
So-
I've been drinking all day. What's going on?
You are healed. That's why.
You're
Alcohol,
immortal.
You're immortal.
alcohol technically gets in the bloodstream, so it could have gotten to him. You're not wrong.
Well,
Through the
that's
stomach.
beer, which is like at best 5%, and what he fell into at the end was a petri dish full of like 100% alcohol.
Yeah, it's rubbing alcohol.
So take
Yeah.
shots of what was it? What's the super not Maker's
He
Mark.
needed
Four Loco.
he needed Everclear.
Everclear. That's what I'll say. Everclear or Bacardi 151 or 141.
I feel like at this point we're saying, you know what would have cured COVID is if we all injected ourselves with bleach.
No, it would have injected ourselves with Everclear. You just have to hear about someone complain about their shitty dad for 20 minutes, and we're good. Everclear jokes for people who are older than Nor.
Oh, trust me, I know what Everclear is.
Oh boy.
I've had 2 bad nights on Everclear.
No, it was also a
It's
band.
also a band.
Oh. Well, I've had 2 bad nights on Everclear
baby.
while listening to
I'm so glad you don't know Everclear. I'm glad for you that you
So
don't
was
know that
the
band.
drink named after
Your
the band or the band named after the
I
drink?
will
After the
lie
drink.
you where your flowers can bloom. You don't know that band?
No,
No.
All right. That's not on my playlist.
You're lucky. You're fortunate. They're not as bad as Nickelback, but they're pretty close.
Yeah. That was when we spelled new metal with a U.
Indeed. And an umlaut.
That's right.
All right, your project
Give me-
project after this podcast
Yes.
is when you drive home is to listen to an Everclear song.
Everclear song.
Yep.
Okay.
90s band.
Father of
Our,
mine.
yeah.
Would you rather have
Plain
listened
by-
to Everclear or drink Everclear?
both?
Okay,
Why
so
not both?
when I went to Miami, Ohio, Everclear was illegal in our state.
Illegal?
Illegal because it's incredibly high proof and it was illegal. But we're about 15 miles from the Indiana border. So the upperclassmen would drive across the border to get Everclear, have to hide low from the cops, and I'm just like, dude, all it's gonna do is ruin Hawaiian Punch, and it did. But you know what? I forget the rest of the story, so it wins.
Well, that means that you definitely imbibed in Everclear then.
Let me tell you how we used to do Everclear back in my day.
Oh, please.
Just like 4 or 5 years ago.
And it would be what kills Larry Fishburne.
Larry Fishburne. Jackson. No.
Blurn. It's what would kill the Red Death from this movie is Everclear.
2 bottles of Everclear, 2 jugs of red Hawaiian Punch.
Sure.
Y'all know in the frozen food section how you get the lemonade when the frozen sale.
Yeah, sure.
You get 2 of those. You cut up a pineapple, cut up a watermelon, you cut up, and you get juicy juice for kids. And put it in a Gatorade water cooler. Boom. Night forgotten.
Diabetes.
That
I mean, first of all, A, you're right.
Yes.
And B, I'm glad I can't drink like that anymore. Just you describing it immediately made me want Crystal, and that's bad. Like, everything about that's like, you've made your life into a joke.
That just like smell.
Right.
That smell, you know.
Can, like, for those of you from Carolina, that's when you go to a cookout. Like, whatever your nearby trash food is. When I was in Miami, Ohio, for those of you old people, we put chili on hot dogs, not chili dogs, because it also ends up on spaghetti with cheese. This is Greek chili, and there was a guy who just sold it out like. The Skyline had a person there until 4 a.m, and they just sold it out their window. And so there I am walking down the street with like 3 chili dogs. And the cop's like, "Oh, he is very drunk."
You act like no one else has ever heard of Skyline chili. I've had Skyline chili.
I haven't had Skyline chili.
The spaghetti with the chili and then like a pound of cheese
and the
oyster crackers. Yes,
boy, girl, man.
Nice.
Oh, I'm dying in my
There was
heart.
oysters in this movie. First time I had
So
oysters
gross.
in New Orleans. It was
Were they
charred.
raw or cooked?
Charred, so cooked.
Cooked.
Yeah, there we go.
Delicious.
Yeah, of course.
So in other words, a dumb high schooler wasn't feeding you poison.
Nah.
So the first time I had raw oysters, I was visiting my buddy Michael in Boston. So that you get real seafood there. It was on a pier, and a dude came up and just with a shovel.
Was he a co-op? I'm sorry, I had to say it.
He was there with a snow shovel, and then he just dumped the snow shovel on the round table,
Hey,
and
Nick,
you throw the shells right back into the bag.
Can you tell me, Nick, how to pronounce the word chowder properly?
You say chowder.
There you go.
Chowder.
That was Crocodile Hunter just right there. Oh, crikey, I just had some chowder.
I had a chowder.
That's a knife.
I mean, it...
Well, when Florence Nightingale shows up at the end, seduces everyone with her charms. It's a real medical drama. Dr. House at the end has his musical number, and the one black guy shows up.
Well, hold on. Speaking of doctors, that was a handsome doctor at the ER.
Oh,
that didn't
dude,
know exactly what he
we
was doing. We
end up-
could not talk about that doctor.
We end up in a telenovela version of ER, set in like.
In front of a brick wall.
We have to get some ice.
What's wrong with him?
We have to get some ice. Okay. Just in case you
Give me
guys
the
don't know,
Ziplocs filled with ice.
that is not what you do.
So, well,
You're
hold
like-
on. Let's talk about
You
this.
give medicine.
A man who has 100+ fever.
107 degrees.
107.
We don't know what's wrong with him. We need to cool him down.
Right.
They give him no medicine, just bags of ice.
Let's just bags of ice.
Sometimes you can do
Exactly
both.
what would happen, you guys.
Put him in one of those, like, funny if the bench is tilted forward and slid him into one of those metal ice baths you see football players in.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, nothing. He just looks handsome and sweaty. Like, and his hair's part in the middle with the little teardrops down the side. You're just like, oh,
Clark Kent.
he's gonna tell some kid his dad's dead.
Well, and they let the daughter in the back. And she's
No.
like,
No.
Daddy, Daddy, Daddy. And he's He's like, get her out of here.
The Doctor is Rob Lowe's non-union Mexican equivalent. That's what he looks like.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Well, he was on Beverly Hills 90210 until the season before when he was kicked off for making a move at someone's mom, and then he just got removed.
I'm sure this Doctor's had sex with a whole bunch of moms. Let's be honest.
I mean, in a movie filled with people, he stood out the most.
Because he had a jawline.
That's true.
And you don't have to worry about that with Bill Murray. Bill Murray does not worry about jawlines. Lost in Translation's Bill Murray.
He was like 50 at the time, though, right? Yeah, he was getting up there.
I don't worry about my jawline. I'm 35. Hey, cheese.
Well, you still have you have a beard to distract it. Me, I've been trying to grow goatee for a year. Yes, this is.
I mean, it's coming in strong, buddy.
Thank you.
That's right.
My girlfriend calls it pubes, but it's here, near, or there.
The growing blackness.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
right.
you. Yeah. I don't get the taco meat, which they prefer first to. So.
Dude, you forget, man. I teach high school, so every dude is like this close to having a mustache that would allow him in 50 yards at a play school. Like, dude. We're talking about nonsense. Although the tragedy is, and this is just people who almost feel cool, the mullet is coming back, and God help us all.
What?
Dude.
Yes.
Dude. And the mullet where you have your side shaved like you are going down some sort of tragic waterfall event.
Mattingly, I thought I told you to get rid of those sideburns.
Good God, why?
No,
why is it coming back?
Because people are renting a lot more ATVs. I don't know. Like, we're going mutton, so I'm going to trust the guy with the skullet.
It's the COVID cut, man. People just they grew their hair out. They didn't know what to do. Oh, we have long hair in the back. We need to shorten the front. I mean,
I would say, I don't know who needs to hear this, but it's like going on The Masked Singer or something. You have to have more dignity than this. You just gotta do it. You gotta respect yourself enough to not end up with a skullet.
I know. I go to Target and all these clothes are they're like what I wore in the early '90s. Like it's as a white. Like
we gotta
it's
back
all.
up.
Anyway.
We live in the Metro Atlanta area, and the amount of time I see high schoolers wearing Atlanta '96 game stuff, like.
Dude, I don't know if you have. So there's in the Marietta Square, there is a store where you can exchange clothes and stuff.
Sure.
And these vintage clothes that I guess we all used to wear back in the day, they go for like $50. And these are shirts that you get from a free T-shirts that you get from that you got from the '96 Olympics, and they just threw at you, and they're going for like $50. So
is Izzy coming back?
Izzy.
The Atlanta what's it? I gotta, because we're talking exactly about this, it's been driving me fucking crazy. So there is a online comic book auction site that's on Twitter called Rallies, and someone is advertising that they're going to auction off an entire 1999 first edition of all the Pokemon cards. And I will say, the statistic they quote is 2 years ago, a ranked 10, which is a flawless condition, foil Charizard went for $350,000.
Jeez.
2 years ago. And now he has the entire set up for auction. And so it's supposed to go for multiple $1 million. And that's what we're talking about with vintage clothes.
Jesus.
Right? This is 1999. This is not even more than 25 years ago. This is 22 years ago.
I hate myself because I had all those.
Right! Because you know what they were? They were a game for children. This is a game for children. It's like I've flipped a lot of old Nintendos because I'll get that itch. I'll be just like, who has an NES games? And they, we play them for a while. I have a 64 right now. But you know what a Nintendo is from 1985? $50.
Yeah.
You flip it, it's $45 this time.
I've heard sealed NES games, though, especially the popular ones, can go for a couple $1,000s.
That's the thing. People want to relive Christmas morning, and it's a shame, because games are meant to be played.
I'm raiding my childhood attic right now.
I used to have a binder of Pokemon cards. I wonder what happened to it.
I have Magic cards, and you know what I do with them? Sometimes play with them. It's dirty.
Yeah.
It's so dirty.
So Magic cards. I mean, that's the white blood cell of cards right there.
So this movie ends eventually.
It does.
It turns out.
It ends with the
Ends on a
germ.
good note.
The germ gets defeated, Terminator 2 style, and then Frank gets better. The mayor, Bill Shatner, loses, and Ron Howard wins.
And so he ends up cleaning up shit, literally.
Yeah. And then
in the colon.
And
Osmosis
And
Jones.
then he's let go with the fart.
Oh yeah, he does accidentally set off a fart, and that's actually the end of the movie, isn't it? It's like
It's the end of the movie.
Bill Murray's last line.
Blast line?
Wasn't
Yeah,
that,
last line.
Was
Last
that you
line.
or something? Because wasn't
Yeah,
that you?
was that you? Oh God.
No, he said
Smash
better,
cut.
No, better in than out or something
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Better than
And that
in
was,
than out.
and
Yeah.
that was the last line of the movie.
Hooray.
And
He eats 1 carrot. He eats eggs from the ground, fried chicken, oysters. What else does he eat? Shit. And the last thing he
Literal
eats
shit.
was a carrot.
Osmosis Jones also was kicked off the force earlier, but he's reinstated at the end with his new partner, the sugar pill, Drax. So hey,
That's a good ending.
is it Drax or Drix?
Drix.
Drix.
Saying it wrong probably the entire time.
Drax and Drix.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, everyone.
Drix the Destroyer.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
really upset that one person.
Yes, I'm sure I did. We're gonna get so many emails.
So, that one email. Okay, so, final thoughts, Sudsy.
I don't hate the movie. I watched it a bunch on cable as a kid, and watching it again, I feel the same way about it. It's a nice little distraction. I like the animation, but I mean, I'm not like eager to revisit it again. But if it's ever like just on to you, it's like, you know what? I need to take a nap in about half an hour. I can watch some of this movie.
Sure, no.
I'm going to watch this movie whenever I need motivation to eat healthy. Because that's scary. And God knows what's the insides of me look like. And if it looks, and I don't eat like Frank does, but, you know, I'd say it's a very good educational movie. And, yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Like watching Hoarders before you clean the house.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and considering I had a wing night yesterday, I get you. So.
Well, no, for real. Like, I watched The Biggest Loser until they pass my weight, and then I stop. I was like, this weighs more than me. It's like, oh, no, they're at my weight. I gotta stop watching it because I'll feel bad for you.
I thought this movie was fun. It's super fun. It's cute. I like the puns and that it's just a neat idea for a movie. I think there's not many like it. It's gross, so I wouldn't recommend watching it after you eat or anything. Like Nora was saying, it will kind of motivate you to take better care of yourself. So that's good. I don't think it's quite a kids movie, but not quite an adult movie either. It's kind of in that weird, strange category. But yeah, it entertained me for 90 minutes.
See, I will take what Lauren said and kind of riff on it a bit, but like the problem for me is that I don't know who it's aimed at. Like, I don't know if like I'm supposed to think of this as a big old family picture because it's really gross. I mean, and again, like, I don't know, maybe if you're like an 11-year-old boy and you want to show him what it's like to watch, like, but even that, it's weird. For me, I thought it was fine. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I thought, again, if it was on TV, it's not like I'd turn off when my kid was watching it. But, like, it's weird because this is an era where Shrek is also kind of gross, but it's an actual movie, right? Because it is. There's a lot of fart jokes and gross jokes and earwax jokes and, like, small penis jokes, which is weird. But there's a movie there even if you take out the jokes. If you took out the jokes here, there's no movie. So, like, for me, it's what you described. It's when we were kids and we didn't have all the Netflix and all them streaming services. If this was just on Fox, let the kid watch it because it doesn't hurt anything. But now in the age of streaming, skip it. There's so much better things that are similar. Like, Inside Out is the same idea, but it's good. Dude, there are episodes of Scooby-Doo when they go inside the human body that's better than this. Like I said at the beginning, it's a magic school bus with too much budget. Watch the magic school bus.
And too much fart jokes.
If you take out the animation of this movie, it's just Frank and 2 Days to Live.
If you were going to invest this much money in animation, make it a better movie. The script must be the cheapest thing you're affording at that point. Do anything. Really. It took 2 years to animate this shit, and they that made fart jokes. We see someone using a laser to chisel out a mucus wad, like, for 2 minutes! And then a zit explodes on an SNL character. Gross! Anyway, thanks for listening to this nonsense, because we will have more nonsense every week. And if you're on Patreon, even more than that. Congratulations. So thanks for listening. Stay tuned next week and every future week. We can put another piece of your past on trial, or whatever the current slogan is. Thanks, guys. Myopia Movies is a production of Dude Letter Podcasting. It is hosted by Nick Hoffman, edited by Nick Hoffman and Daniel Sudis. The theme song is Surf Shimmy by Kevin MacLeod. Find his music on comtech.com. It is registered under the Creative 4 license. Our regular panelists are Matthew Quinn, Daniel Sudis, Nick Hoffman, and Jeremy Rigel. Thanks for listening. Please support our Patreon at patreon.com/myopia. Thanks, guys.